Liverpool similarly found some joy with 3 players in the first line. They did this by moving Curtis Jones from midfield into defence, pushing Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk wider, rather than having their keeper become the third defender. Jones broke the lines through City's front 4 to find Liverpool's midfielders around the City midfield duo. Florian Wirtz moved infield from the left wing to join Ryan Gravenberch and Dominic Szoboszlai in what became a 3v2 situation. Annotated screen grab showing Curtis Jones providing problems for City's 4-2-4 shape. It shows Wirtz moving into the midfield from the left wing, creating a 4-against-2 situation against City's midfield duo. Image caption: Curtis Jones drops into the middle of a back 3. Cherki fails to cover the passing lane into midfield, and Wirtz receives the ball in midfield, having moved infield from the left wing. Liverpool have 4 midfielders around City's 2. Another solution Arsenal have used comes in the form of central midfielders suddenly dropping deep to receive passes from the centre-backs. Opponents who man-mark are always reacting to the actions of the attacking team, so a sudden movement can provide a moment of unmarked time on the ball. As mentioned earlier, against Bournemouth, Havertz attracted left midfielder Tavernier, which left White free. Raya found Rice, who sharply moved into space before sweeping the ball into the area where White was unmarked. In this example, the pass was overhit, a pattern that is becoming more common. But the patterns on show against this type of pressure worked more than a few times and are ideas worth persevering with. Annotated screen grab showing Declan Rice's movement and pass attempt in build-up against Bournemouth. Image caption: Raya finds Declan Rice, who has run towards the ball, finding separation from his marker. Havertz has dragged left midfielder Tavernier infield, leaving White, the intended target, unmarked. Rice overhits this pass and White struggles to control it. Annotated screen grab showing how Raya and Rice combine to escape Bournemouth's pressing trap and find Saliba. Image caption: Evan Lisson tries to block right centre-back Saliba from getting the ball from Raya. Rice makes a quick movement deeper, loses his marker, and after receiving the pass from Raya, sweeps the ball to Saliba with ease. Defensively, Arsenal will need to be alert to the threat Nico O'Reilly possesses. The versatile 1-year-old has underpinned much of City's revival, starting at the back end of last season, and scored twice against Arsenal and once against Chelsea in recent weeks. Through his unusual positioning, he often finds himself in areas in between traditional positions, not as a left-back or a winger or an attacker on the last line, but arriving into these areas for brief moments. This makes it hard for teams to defend against him. Arsenal alternated between having Saka and Zubimendi pick up O'Reilly, with both men responsible for losing him for a goal each. Chelsea had Andre Santos almost man-mark O'Reilly wherever he went to, but the Brazilian midfielder eventually lost his individual duel as O'Reilly towered over him to put Manchester City ahead. Annotated screen grab from City's Carabao Cup win against Arsenal, showing O'Reilly's first goal and his position between the centre-back and right-back, and being marked by Zubimendi. Image caption: Zubimendi does well to drop into the back line, forming a makeshift back 5. The Spaniard plugs the gap that O'Reilly so often exploits, but ultimately the height and physicality mismatch lets O'Reilly win his duel to score the opener. Arsenal have shown glimpses of having the answer to some of the many questions they have been asked in recent weeks, but have lacked the ability to complete those moves consistently, with sloppy passes creeping into their usually reliable game. The loss of Bukayo Saka to injury has dampened their ability to pin teams back and dominate the game in the final third as often as they did with him in the starting 11. Paired with what looks like a more cautious approach on the ball from some of their players, an argument can be made that the physical and mental aspects of the title race are taking a toll. As Arteta continues to galvanise Arsenal's players and fans, it appears he feels the mental part of the game is key to competing with a Manchester City side in the ascendancy. Dealing with that while having to ensure the right tactical tweaks are made game on game makes the final few weeks no easy challenge. But Arteta and his players may be closer to wrapping up a historic campaign than fan sentiment suggests.